Happy lunch hour, gang. Okay, how many of you are like me and believe when November rolls around that Potato Joe is not going to be on the top of the Democrat ticket? That sometime between now and the convention, the Democrats are going to find a reason to replace Joe. He's miraculously going to be too sick, or he's going to get Arkansided, or something's going to happen to Joe, because everybody in the DNC, I mean, even CNN, the New York Times, James Carville, okay, you know, the mouthpieces are all saying Joe can't win. So the Democrats are going to get rid of Joe. It's kind of a foregone conclusion. And for the last couple of years, we've heard the names that are going to be used to replace him. Kamala Harris. That's a joke, okay? Nobody thinks she can win. Even the Democrats didn't want her. Remember, she dropped out of the 2020 Democrat primaries before the first ballot was cast. She knew she was in last place at that point, okay? So she ain't going to be it. They've talked about Gretchen Whitmer. Nah, she ain't going to be it. I mean, they're having a hard time right now holding on to Michigan. Trump leads in Michigan. Okay, so Whitmer's not going to be your candidate. The big one they keep talking about is Gavin Newsom. That Gavin Newsom is going to be the next bright shining star in the DNC. That we need somebody younger. Not that Newsom's that young compared to Joe. Everybody's young, okay? But Newsom's going to be the great new star, because, you know, we need somebody who's got perfect hair, right? You know, that's an important qualification for being president. Hey, being a Jamaican Indian woman apparently is a qualification to be vice president, you know. But, you know, so we may have our first DEI president, but we'll see, you know, because a white man, we couldn't have that, but who knows how Newsom will identify come 6 months from now. But we hear all the stories from him all the time. Remember, even a few months ago, it was he wanted to debate Ron DeSantis on the quality of life in California versus the quality of life in Florida. Okay. Yeah, let's see. You see all the stories in Florida about the sheriffs in county after county after county saying things like, somebody breaks into your house, eliminate them. It saves the taxpayer money. Or if you're coming down here from one of your blue states and you love all the crime and everything that you had there, even though you left because of it, and you try to do it down here, we're putting you right in jail. You know, there's not a whole lot of love lost in Florida for the criminal element. You look at what Texas, California, whatever states are doing for illegals. Put them on buses and send them somewhere else versus what you have Gavin Newsom doing. But Newsom is loving to come out and tell everybody how great everything is in California, and as California goes, so should the rest of the United States. Okay. Let's take a look at this. 2 years ago, 2 years ago, California had a $100 billion surplus in the government coffers. Today, or Friday, they had a $73 billion deficit. Somewhere, somehow, Newsom managed to spend $173 billion on basically nothing. Maybe it was the high-speed rail system that they've spent, I forget what it was, $6.8 million per foot to build. They've gone off all of 1,600 feet at a cost of $6.8 million per foot. 1,600 foot high-speed rail system. Okay, do the math. That's less than a third of a mile. Okay. We could take a look at some of the other great things that Gavin Newsom has done in California. That he wants to bring to the entire United States. We have the highest unemployment in the country. Okay? California's unemployment rate is 5.7%. Washington State is next at 5.4%. Okay. So, yes, if we want higher unemployment, let's bring in some Gavin Newsom policies. If we want to talk about homelessness, let's talk about that. California has 180,000 homeless people in the state. That's 1/3 of the homeless in the country live in California. Now, you could say all you want that, oh, well, it's where the homeless go because the weather's better or something, right? You know, it's the excuse here. Oh, they're all coming here. Honestly, if you're homeless, let's say you lost your job in Cleveland, okay? And all of a sudden you're homeless. You don't have any money. Please explain to me how you got from Cleveland to California. No. The problem that California has is everything is too expensive because of taxes. Let's talk about who has the highest taxes in the country. That would be California, okay? What is Gavin Newsom's plan to cover his shortfall? He wants to increase taxes $64 billion. Okay? Nothing like spending more money than you have and then telling everybody else that they have to pay for it. Where have we heard that before? Okay. How about states that have lost the most population? Guess who's number one on that list? That would be California. Why are people moving out of California? Because, I don't know, a 60-year-old Rambler 2-bedroom house in our outside San Francisco, say, is over $1 million. Nobody can afford it, okay? When in order for a household to live paycheck to paycheck, they have to make $250,000 a year. Let's talk about gas prices. Gas right now in California, is over $7 a gallon. The rest of the country, on average, is around $4. Okay? Gavin Newsom wants to add, in the next 2 years, a 50-cent per gallon tax on gasoline. Oh, that'll just make it even easier for people to afford things, right? You know, my truck takes 22 gallons of gas. That'd be an extra $11 per fill-up. Thanks, Gavin. Just what I want. California wants to get rid of fuel-powered cars and make everything electric, which is already proven not to work. Great. Another brilliant idea by Gavin Newsom. I've said many times that there is not a single success that Joe Biden can run on. Nothing he has done, zero. There is nothing. Not a single policy of Joe Biden's has been successful. Gavin Newsom's answer to that was, hold my beer. You look at the complete, absolute failure of a state under somebody's leadership. California is the epitome of failure. Gavin Newsom is the epitome of a failure. I want to give you this as a thought, okay? Remember Ronald Reagan? Okay. Probably one of the best, if not the best president in the history of the United States. Remember where he was from? Remember what his job was? Oh, yeah. He was the governor of California. He parlayed that into being one of the greatest presidents in U.S. history. He had good ideas. He ended the Cold War. Gavin Newsom is ending prosperity, morality, common sense. In 40 years, California has gone from the Golden State to a lump of coal state. And not the kind they're trying to get rid of there, too. You know, the kind that Santa Claus puts in your stocking when you're a bad little boy. The last thing the United States needs is Gavin Newsom running this country. Gavin Newsom couldn't run a 7-Eleven. Okay. We're in trouble. We all know it. There is nobody on the bench for the Democrats. Who are they going to run? Adam Schiff, Jerry Nadler, Sheila Jackson Lee, AOC? Who is the backup for Joe Biden? There isn't one. They've run out of people. There is not a single Democrat out there with good ideas. There's not a single Democrat out there who can run on their record, because every one of them, their policies have been absolute failures. Look at pretty much every city in the country, metropolitan areas. Most of them are run by Democrats. Lori Lightfoot's Chicago. Oh, that was a complete disaster. What do? Well, we elect a mayor who's worse. Okay? You know, let's look at Bill de Blasio in New York. What do? We elect a mayor that's worse. I mean, Eric Adams is taking a tax funder paid trip, I think it's to Italy, to discuss climate change and illegal immigration. We have to do that in Italy. Couldn't do that via a Zoom call? Like, the illegal immigration that the Italians are facing is anything similar to the illegal immigration we're seeing? Climate change? Really? How much is that trip going to cost the people in New York who are being inundated with illegals left and right? There isn't anybody else. California is the exact example of what nobody should do. The fact that anybody is even considering voting for Joe Biden or hoping for Gavin Newsom or Gretchen Whitmer or Eric Adams or any of the other cast of traitors astounds me. But this is what the power-hungry people want. This will probably, you hear the story all the time about the end of democracy and the projectionism by Democrats. Democracy will die in November if we elect any Democrat to the White House or to Congress. The United States will be done. Whether or not there is an election at all, we don't know. I mean, hell, Zelensky's 5-year term is up May 21st. Okay? They've already canceled elections. It's not safe while we're at war and we're under martial law. We need to have the same leadership. Don't for a second think that Joe isn't watching that close and going, how can I pull that one off here in the United States? Because we're going to do our best to pull off another 7 months of the failed Biden experiment. If we have to go through any much longer than that, the United States ceases to exist. Pinball out.